Prime Minister Shinzo Abe sat down for burgers with Mr. Trump on Sunday, catering to the U.S. president's food preferences. The two even signed golfing hats together over lunch. And if you can't read it, the hats say, Donald and Shinzo make alliance even greater. After that display of friendship, they played golf, Mr. Trump's favorite pastime. Despite all these happy pictures, President Trump did not hold back from scolding Japan over trade with the U.S.
We want free and reciprocal trade, but right now our trade with Japan is not free and it's not reciprocal, and I know it will be.
Okay, so let's take a closer look now, Mr. Trump's relationship with Japan. Tomohiko Taniguchi is the special advisor to Prime Minister Abe. He joins us now live from Tokyo. And sir, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on the program. And let's first talk about trade. Prime Minister Abe and President Trump, we know they're in agreement when it comes to North Korea, but not trade. Trump says that trade with Japan is unfair. He wants a better deal. What does Japan make of that?
Well, the Japanese response is going to be that the trade deficit the United States has with Japan, while sizable, is proportionately far less than ever before. And it's just less than 10% as opposed to the total amount of trade deficits the United States has with the rest of the world. That's point number one. And point number two is the Japanese companies have been investing a lot in the automotive sector and other sectors in the United States, thereby having generated a stunning number of 860,000 jobs. That's second only to the number of the United Kingdom that has invested in the United States for much, much longer than the Japanese have.
Got it. So that's how Japan sees the trade relationship. But we know that Japan and the U.S. are currently not on the same page when it comes to trade. Discussions are continuing. So do you think that Trump and Abe will soon reach a deal and see eye to eye on trade?
Well, one of the wisest things that the two leaders have chosen to do is to delegate the trade negotiations down the road to their deputies in the United States, Vice President Pence, and in Japan, Deputy Prime Minister Aso. These are the people that are in charge of discussing the trade agendas down the road.
Now, Shinzo Abe, on the issue of North Korea, the Japanese Prime Minister says that tomorrow there will be more action on freezing assets, North Korean assets and individuals. How concerned is Japan of retaliation by North Korea, of angering North Korea?
Rather, the sign of weakness and hesitation could very well invite more provocations, not less. So we must maintain a tougher position towards Pyongyang.
Does that mean strengthening its military arsenal? We heard from Donald Trump at a press conference today. He said that Japan could shoot North Korean missiles out of the sky with military equipment bought from the U.S. Do you think that there'll be more military deals signed as a result of this visit?
Well, it's common knowledge that Japan must invest into its missile shield more, and the equipment that the Japanese have chosen to have has been from the United States. Rather, it's been developed jointly between the United States and Japan. So down the road, it's going to be the same. The Japanese will have to buy more to beef up its defense shield.
It was a pretty packed schedule for the U.S. president while he was visiting Japan. And in fact, earlier today, the U.S. president met with families of Japanese citizens believed to be abducted by North Korea. Why was that on the agenda? Why is that significant?
It all started from Mr. Trump's initiative, by which I mean that Mr. Trump put the case of abduction to his address that he delivered to the United Nations General Assembly earlier in September. And then Donald Trump volunteered to include that schedule to his itinerary. And so started was this process.
And a final question for you, sir, just about the overall trip and how Japan really, rolled out the red carpet for Donald Trump. Prime Minister Abe heaped praise on the U.S. leader. He took him out for a round of golf. This visit really seemed about making sure that Donald Trump is happy. Why was that a top priority for Shinzo Abe?
It is between the two leaders of the two biggest democratic powers in the East Asia. But what's important is that both leaders have chosen to share a vision that stretches from the Western Pacific to the Indian Ocean. They called it the Indo-Pacific Vision. And I think that's the vision that the United States and Japan must continue to hold dear. And in that region, Shinzo Abe and Donald Trump mentioned that they were going to work to preserve the rules-based international order. That's, I think, what was most important.